Vietnam, a country known for its rich culture, diverse landscapes, and historical significance, boasts a deeply layered and complex history. The story of Vietnam spans thousands of years, from the earliest human settlements to its modern-day emergence as a unified and resilient nation. This essay traces the history of Vietnam, weaving together the threads of ancient civilizations, feudal dynasties, foreign invasions, and independence movements that have shaped the identity and character of the Vietnamese people. The dawn of civilization in Vietnam. Archaeological discoveries have revealed that Vietnam's history stretches back to the Paleolithic era, around 500,000 years ago. Early humans, standing upright and using rudimentary stone tools, lived in the northern provinces of Lang Son, Thanh Hoa, andIen Bai, as well as in Ninh Binh and Quang Binh. These early inhabitants left behind traces of their daily lives, including tools and fossilized remains, providing a glimpse into the region's prehistoric past. In northern Vietnam, these early humans lived in limestone caves, surviving as hunter-gatherers, while in the central coastal regions, such as Nay An, people primarily relied on fishing for sustenance. As time passed, these early societies evolved. By the Neolithic period, around 5,000 to 6,000 years ago, ancient Vietnamese communities began cultivating wet rice, a pivotal development that would later play a central role in the country's economy and culture. The cultivation of rice spread from the highlands to the lowlands, establishing a stable agricultural base. This period also marked advancements in tool-making techniques, as well as the creation of pottery using diverse methods, a testament to the growing complexity of these early societies. The rise of early states and cultures. By the end of the Bronze Age, around the first millennium BC, the rice-growing regions of the Red River and Sie River had given birth to the Dong Son culture. This culture, characterized by its impressive bronze artifacts, including drums and weapons, demonstrated significant social and technological progress. During this time, the first states in Vietnam began to form. The Van Lang and Olac kingdoms emerged as political entities, laying the foundations for future Vietnamese civilizations. Despite their early advances, these fledgling states would face external threats. From the 2nd century BC, feudal dynasties from the north, specifically from China, began to exert influence over Vietnam. For more than 1,000 years, various Chinese dynasties dominated parts of Vietnam, attempting to impose their governance and culture. However, the Vietnamese people did not passively accept this domination. Throughout this period, a series of uprisings, led by iconic figures such as the Trung sisters, Hai Ba Trung, Ba Tru, and Lai Bai, displayed the indomitable spirit of the Vietnamese in their quest for independence. Independence and the formation of feudal dynasties. In 938 AD, a pivotal moment in Vietnam's history arrived when Ngo Nguyen led the Vietnamese forces to victory in the Battle of Bac Dang River, defeating the Southern Han Army. This victory marked the end of Chinese rule and the establishment of an independent Vietnamese state under the Ngo dynasty. Over the following centuries, the Dinh, Tien Lu, Lai, and Tran dynasties would rise to power, each contributing to the consolidation of the Vietnamese nation. During this time, Buddhism became the dominant religion, shaping the spiritual and cultural landscape of the country. Confucianism and Taoism also played significant roles in governance and philosophy, reflecting the Chinese influence on Vietnamese society. Despite these cultural influences, Vietnam fiercely defended its sovereignty, successfully repelling invasions from powerful dynasties like the Song and Mongol-Yuan empires. In the 15th century, the emergence of the Liu dynasty, particularly under the reign of Lô Lôi, marked a golden age for Vietnamese feudalism. Lô Lôi's victory over the Ming dynasty, which had briefly annexed Vietnam, restored independence and ushered in a period of cultural and territorial expansion. The reign of King Lô Thanh Tong, 1460 to 1497, is often regarded as the pinnacle of Vietnamese feudal governance, characterized by administrative reforms and territorial conquests, fragmentation and internal conflicts. However, Vietnam's history was not without internal strife. In the early 16th century, the Liu dynasty began to decline, leading to the rise of the Mac dynasty, which usurped the throne. This period saw a division of the country, with the Mac in the north and the restored Liu dynasty in the south, supported by the Trin and Nguyen lords. This division led to over a century of conflict between the Trin and Nguyen factions, a period known as the Trin-Nguyen Civil War, which fragmented the country and hindered its development. By the late 18th century, internal instability had weakened the feudal system, paving the way for the Tay Son Rebellion, led by the brilliant General Nguyen Hue. Within a short span of 15 years, Nguyen Hue defeated both the Trin and Nguyen lords, as well as repelling invasions from Siam and Qing China, establishing the Tay Son dynasty. However, his early death led to the downfall of the Tay Son regime. In 1802, Nguyen An, a member of the Nguyen lords family, with the support of foreign powers, including France, established the Nguyen dynasty, Vietnam's final imperial dynasty. Colonial rule and the fight for independence. The 19th century brought a new challenge to Vietnam in the form of Western colonialism. France, seeking to expand its influence in Asia, invaded Vietnam and gradually took control, culminating in the establishment of French Indochina in 1887. During this colonial period, Vietnam underwent significant changes as Western culture, science, and technology were introduced. However, French rule also sparked resistance, with various nationalist movements emerging to challenge foreign domination. The disruption of World War II temporarily shifted power in Vietnam when Japan took control from the French in 1945. The ensuing power vacuum allowed revolutionary leader Ho Chi Minh to seize the moment. On September 2, 1945, Ho Chi Minh declared the establishment of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam at Ba Dinh Square, marking the beginning of modern Vietnam. This declaration, however, was not immediately accepted by the international community, and France attempted to regain control, leading to the First Indochina War. The Vietnam War and reunification. After the defeat of the French in 1954, Vietnam was divided into two zones, awaiting national elections that were never held. Instead, this division solidified into two separate governments, the Communist North and the Anti-Communist South, supported by the United States. The ensuing Vietnam War, which lasted until 1975, was a brutal conflict that drew in major global powers, devastating the country but ultimately leading to the reunification of Vietnam under communist control. Post-war Vietnam and Doi Moi reforms. The post-war period in Vietnam was marked by economic difficulties, international isolation, and the consequences of conflicts with neighboring countries. However, in 1986, the Doi Moi reforms were introduced, transitioning Vietnam from a centrally planned economy to a socialist-oriented market economy. These reforms led to significant economic growth, improved living standards, and the normalization of relations with countries like the United States. Conclusion: Vietnam's history is a story of resilience, resistance, and adaptation. From its ancient roots to its modern-day successes, the Vietnamese people have shown an unyielding determination to protect their land and maintain their sovereignty. Today, Vietnam stands as a testament to the strength and spirit of its people, offering a rich and diverse history that continues to inspire admiration across the globe.